political football game and they're playing with people's lives. All right. And it's wrong.
This morning, Congress at odds over another stimulus bill. Coming up, what plan Republicans will reveal today to help the country's economy. Plus, voting during a pandemic, how city leaders in New Orleans are pushing for a safe way for neighbors to vote. And it's finally here. It's like Christmas morning. The NFL season officially kicks off today in Kansas City. Coming up, what we can expect this season as the defending Super Bowl champs take on the Texans tonight. These stories and more right now on WDSU News this morning.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WDSU News this morning.
We begin this Thursday morning with a live look from Kansas City. This is where the NFL season will officially kick off today. You can see the city is ready. They've got buildings shining in red, glowing with the Chiefs logo. The countdown is officially on. Good morning, I'm Christina Watkins, and we know this year is going to be different, but nothing can stop the excitement building up for this season. Despite all of that, we know where our eyes are, on the black and gold for this Sunday when they take on the Bucs right here at home at the Superdome. Giving you a live look here as we count down 3 days, 9 hours, 23 minutes to go until kickoff. Much more on sports coming up in a few minutes. But first, we got to check in with meteorologist Damon Singleton for the latest on our forecast. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, we got some rainfall yesterday, some heavy rainfall in some parts of the area yesterday. We're going to be mostly dry today, however, so that's some good news for us. The radar picture right now is nice and clear. It's going to stay that way again for most of the day today. There will be a few showers out there, but not much. Temperatures are pretty nice, a little bit lower than they were at this time yesterday, with Bogalusa and Hammond both being at 70 degrees. Slidell, you're at 71 over on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Gulfport and Biloxi, you're both at 74 degrees down here on the South Shore. The Naval Air Station in Belle Chase reporting 76, while Houma, you're at 73. Galliano, you're at 75. And over in Kenner, it is 80 degrees. This afternoon, I'm expecting your highs to rise into the low to mid 90s across southeast Louisiana, maybe 93, 94 degrees over the airport for an afternoon high. And here's a look at how we're going to get there. Your hour-by-hour forecast showing you by noontime, we're in the upper 80s, most of us, that is. Again, by 3 p.m. this afternoon, low to mid 90s, many of us around that 93, 94, 95 degree range. By 6 p.m., we're all still in the upper 80s for the most part. And by 9 p.m. tonight, many of us, even then, still in the low 80s. But our temperatures overnight will be falling into the mid to upper 70s once again. There's rainfall on the way back. When I come back, I'll tell you when it will arrive.
All right, Damon, thank you. Later this morning, Governor John Bel Edwards is expected to discuss his next executive order regarding COVID-19. The clock is ticking as phase 2 here in our state will expire tomorrow. This comes as the state reported more than 1,500 new COVID-19 cases yesterday. But important to note here, the Department of Health says this includes a backlog of 690 cases from August 6th to September 4th. Our total cases now stand at more than 154,000. Also reported yesterday, 15 more deaths, bringing the total closer to 5,000 total deaths. And the new numbers comes as Louisiana's point man in the response here says he is stepping down. Dr. Alex Bu announced his resignation yesterday, saying he plans to spend more time with his family. Right now, he serves as the Assistant Secretary at the Louisiana Department of Health. He has run the Office of Public Health, and he has been a key player in the state's COVID-19 response. He will leave his position at the end of this month. Well, from Commitment 2020 this morning, Louisiana Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin could be putting eyes on Champion Square today. And it's got little to nothing to do with sports. You know, as we continue to deal with COVID-19, city leaders are considering a drive-through voting location for the upcoming fall elections, primarily for some early voters. And representatives from Ardoin's office are expected to take a look today. WDSU's Heath Allen joins us now. And the question this morning, Heath, can this actually work?
Christina, I think that's exactly what they're going to come down here and take a look at. It's a new and different day. We keep saying that. And people are trying to come up with new and innovative ways to get things done. So here's what they're talking about at this point. We're here at Champion Square, and they're looking at a drive-through polling place. You would actually come through Champion Square. You would enter on Girard, exit on Poydras, dropping off an absentee ballot for early voting. That's not all. They're also looking to use space to promote voter registration and to get poll workers signed up. Councilmember Helena Moreno says because of COVID-19, they want to use the Smoothie King Center as a new polling location for early voting. Because of COVID, they are having to get really creative as a massive turnout is expected for the November elections.
Here's where it gets tricky. Ordinarily, when we're trying to do these big voter registration drives, you know, we have a big rally, we have a bunch of people together, but during COVID, it is just so much more challenging. So we're having to think outside the box as to how we're going to do these types of events.
I wonder if people are still thinking inside the box. We know that representatives from the Secretary of State's office are supposed to be down here a little bit later on today. Perhaps even the Secretary of State, Kyle Ardoin, himself may actually come down and put eyes on this idea. Bottom line is they're trying to come up with a safe and secure way to get some of these absentee votes filed and counted. Guys, back to you.
Thinking inside the box, Heath Allen. What is that in 2020? Thank you so much. All right, at 6:06, giving you a live look from Capitol Hill this morning. This is where a motion to advance a Republican-led COVID-19 stimulus bill is expected to be voted on in the Senate today. But this measure may not get very far. They are dubbing this the skinny bill. It's from Senate Republicans, and it calls for $300 a week in enhanced jobless benefits. It extends the Paycheck Protection Program and provides $105 billion for education. The near $500 billion does not include stimulus checks or additional state aid. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, they are calling for a $2.2 trillion stimulus plan, but the White House rejected that.
We've just been waiting and waiting for our Republican friends to get their act together.
It's just silly season on the Democratic side. They've run out of excuses not to legislate.
And the GOP measure needs 60 votes to move past a Democratic filibuster, but it's not expected to get that many. To California now, where 3 people died in the Bear Fire, 12 others still missing. This comes as crews continued working to contain the fire this morning. This is just one of several dangerous wildfires that destroyed or damaged more than 200 buildings in California. Several people were hurt after being trapped by the Bear Fire overnight. Fire responders had to rescue more than 100 people. The National Forest Service estimates the Bear Fire burned more than 97,000 acres in the past 24 hours, with wind gusts, and firefighters had to battle a wall of fire that jumped as high as 200 feet at times. Back here at home, energy industry leaders say Hurricane Laura did significant damage at a site holding about 30% of the nation's store of emergency crude oil. But they say 3 other sites were not damaged, and they have plenty of oil in case of an emergency. The damaged site is in West Hackberry, Louisiana. This is where strategic petroleum reserve caverns hold more than 8 billion gallons of crude oil. Now, although refineries in Lake Charles are still shut down this morning, there is no shortage of gas, jet fuel, or any other products. Now to New York, it was another night of protests in Rochester. You see it here. This was the 8th day protesters gathered since details of Daniel Prude's death came to light last week. They are calling for the mayor to resign and more police reform. The city's police chief, among other members of the department, announced their retirement early this week. This all comes as the conversation continues this morning about justice and racism, even here at home. New Orleans city leaders met for a virtual forum last night talking about those exact topics. And one question, how the city of New Orleans has been responding to it all. This series is called From the Voices of Youth, and it is spread across a dozen cities. Students from all over got the chance to ask NOPD Chief Sean Ferguson some questions. Here's one from a freshman from Hampton University.
If the George Floyd incident would have occurred in your city, how would your department have handled it?
One reason is because we have a program called EPIC, Ethical Policing is Courageous, which is a mandate for our officers to intervene when they're seeing misconduct.
And you can still watch this event and hear all the topics discussed. Just head to our website right now, WDSU.com, for details. Well, the message of racism also reaching Kansas City this morning. Give you a live look here as the Chiefs hope to make an important statement on the field as they kick off the NFL season tonight. The words End Racism were painted in the end zone. All 32 NFL teams are participating in the awareness effort to support social justice this season. The opposite end zone in Kansas City will bear the words, "It takes all of us." Also, during the first week of every game, the NFL will play the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, before kickoff. And in another push for racial justice, Chiefs fans will not wear headdresses or face paint inside of Arrowhead Stadium. The move by the reigning Super Bowl champs pleased Native Americans, calling this a good first step. If fans show up to the stadium wearing them, they will be removed. And a quick programming note for you. Kickoff for tonight's game is at 7:20 between the Chiefs and the Texans. There will be a kickoff special tonight at 6. So that means you can watch WDSU News at 6 on MeTV. All right, at 6:10, giving you a live look outside as the Superdome. Talking about the NFL, we here in New Orleans and across Southeast Louisiana, we are getting ready for the Saints to kick off their season on Sunday against the Bucs here at the Dome. We cannot wait. Let's get a check of our forecast now with meteorologist Damon Singleton. Good morning.
Good morning, Christina. Yeah, looking pretty good all across Southeast Louisiana. The skies above the Superdome are mostly clear, as they are for all of us. The temperatures outside pretty much in the low 70s if you're on the North Shore. 70 degrees over in Hammond and Bogalusa, 71 in Slidell. Down here on the South Shore, Houma, you're at 73 degrees. Galliano, you're at 77. And the Naval Air Station Belle Chase, you're at 76 degrees. This afternoon, I'm expecting your highs to rise for most of us into the low to mid 90s, probably about 93, 94 degrees over the airport, with heat index values up to about 103 degrees for many of us as well.
All right, Damon, thank you. Still to come, a New York doctor indicted, facing allegations of sexually assaulting dozens of patients. We'll tell you the charges he's facing this morning. And don't forget, you'll find our WDSU weather forecast every weekday morning on Nash 106.1, the Crew 106.7, Alt 92.3, and 102.9. We'll be right back.